For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Hello and welcome to Strat News Global. Earlier this week, Bhutan's young king, Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk, was in New Delhi for a 2-day visit, trying to figure out how best to balance between India and China on the boundary issue and, of course, get commitment or reassurance from India on various commitments for its socio-economic development and financial assistance. That's the subject of this week's Simply Nitin. I'm Nitin Gokhale. So when the King of Bhutan came to India on 3rd of April, the first commitment that he had, or the first point of agenda on his program, was obviously the recent controversy, you may call it even a storm in a teacup, about the boundary issue between India, China and Bhutan, especially in the Chumbi Valley, where there was a military standoff between India and China in August and September 2017. Of late, there have been indications and statements from various actors, various players, which showed that Bhutan is coming under tremendous pressure from China to settle their decades-old boundary dispute. Now, why is it important for India to keep a watch on that boundary dispute? It's simple. Bhutan, India and China share a boundary or share a tri-junction or a common ground in the Chumbi Valley, which is a narrow strip of land jutting into India's Siliguri corridor from the Tibetan side, and which has Sikkim on one side and Bhutan on the other. Now, that's the place where there was a standoff, as all of you are aware, in 2017, which was resolved after a 73-day face-off between Indian and Chinese troops, which also involved Bhutan in many ways. Now, after that, the Chinese have been putting tremendous pressure on Bhutan to settle the boundary, or at least establish a roadmap to settle the boundary, or a timeline to settle the boundary issue between those two countries. Remember, China has settled all their boundary issues with their surrounding neighbors, 12 of them out of the 14 that they share the border with. And the only two countries which haven't settled the border, or the Chinese haven't been able to settle the border with, is India and Bhutan. And therefore, the issue becomes controversial. It becomes a geopolitical contest between two big players, big neighbors, China and India. And Bhutan gets sandwiched in between and comes under pressure from both sides. So when the King of Bhutan was in Delhi, of course there were discussions about various aspects of India-Bhutan relationship. But the main agenda, although the press release or the joint statement or the framework doesn't reflect that the main agenda was discussion between Indian and the Bhutanese side on the boundary issue and the kind of sensitivities that are involved on both sides, it was clear that the behind the scene or closed door discussions would have involved extensive discussions on the boundary issue. Now, that boundary issue was preceded by 3 important visits from the Indian side. There was Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra, who went to Bhutan, to Thimphu in January, following Bhutan and China talks or expert groups talk in Kunming. Then I'm told that the Indian Army Chief and intelligence chiefs have also visited Bhutan subsequently to converse on what India wants from Bhutan, the guarantees that India wants, and the kind of commitment that India wants from Bhutan to make sure that China does not get an advantage at the tri-junction called the Batangla, or what the Chinese want is at Mount Gipmochi or Gyamochen, where the 3 sides or 3 countries meet. Now, that's been a long-standing dispute, while the Indian and the Bhutanese side have said repeatedly that the tri-junction lies at Batangla. The Chinese insist that it should be at Gamochen or Mount Gipmochi, as it is also called. If that happens, India feels that the Chinese will get access to the Jhamperi Ridge in the Doklam Plateau, which will mean that from the Jhamperi Ridge, if they get access, if the Chinese get access, they will have direct access or direct line of sight to India's vulnerable Siliguri corridor, which connects India's northeast to the rest of the country. Now, this tension has got accentuated since 2017, when India stopped Chinese from constructing a road in that area in the Bhutan territory. Now, that was unexpected for the Chinese, that the Indian troops had crossed over into Bhutan and had stopped them from constructing or extending the road coming into the Bhutanese side, which the Chinese were trying since 2007 to extend it and come as close to the Jhamperi Ridge as possible. Following that standoff and that resolution which happened in October 2017, the Chinese have upped the ante in Chumbi Valley. They have created larger infrastructure. They have brought in more troops. There are permanent habitats which didn't exist. They have also built roads, all-weather roads on their side of the Chumbi Valley, and have attempted to do infrastructure work near the Torsa Nala, which is one of the important points of that tri-junction, or the river Amichu, where the Chinese are trying to increase their activity. Now, India sees this as a threat to its Siliguri corridor and the vulnerable points around the tri-junction. So, the earlier arrangement was that the Bhutanese Royal Bhutan Army troops would patrol that area, would go across their line or their boundary side and patrol those areas once in a while. But India now has a larger presence following that crisis in 2017. India has inducted artillery guns, they've got more permanent habitat, they've got more troops. The reinforcement has happened, maybe there are missile batteries which have come there. And remember, the second squadron of the Rafales fighter jets are not too far from the tri-junction. They are at Ashimara, which is in the Siliguri corridor, and therefore there is a heightened militarization of that tri-junction or Chumbi Valley. Now, India wants Bhutan to reiterate its commitment towards India's concerns, India's national interest. India is saying that we'll protect you, we are your security guarantors, according to the treaty that we have, which was updated in 2007 between India and Bhutan. But we need to be sure that your commitment remains strong. I suppose that was the message during the talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the King of Bhutan. But that was the overwhelming or the overarching theme of the discussion, I suspect, which nobody is willing to admit on record. Even Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra, during his interaction with the media, following the talks between the two leaders, basically said that India reiterates its earlier stand. India stands committed to its earlier stand as far as the tri-junction or the boundary issue is concerned. And India does not see any change in that position. Now, why has all this become suddenly a concern to India? For two reasons. One, of course, that from 2021, the Chinese have increased their pressure on Bhutan, pressurizing them to hold talks in Kunming of the experts group on both sides. They had agreed to a three-step roadmap where the Chinese wanted some concessions from Bhutan. Bhutan stood firm. Bhutan also informed India about what they were doing. The 24 rounds of boundary talks since 1986 haven't gone any further. But again in January 2023, there was this expert group meeting in Kunming again, which perhaps gave an indication to Indian interlocutors that Bhutan was becoming more vulnerable than before to Chinese pressure tactics. And therefore, perhaps India wanted this meeting to happen where the recommitment to each other's security concerns, and the security cooperation framework between India and Bhutan had to be reinforced. I think that was the whole purpose of this visit by the King of Bhutan. Of course, there are other issues which came up and which are about how India can assist in the socio-economic development of Bhutan. They spoke about the exemplary bilateral relationship characterized by trust, goodwill, and mutual understanding at all levels. Important to note the words strong bonds of friendship and close people-to-people contacts. During the visit, the press release or the joint statement says, during the visit, His Majesty the King of Bhutan and Prime Minister of India held discussions on the entire gamut of bilateral cooperation and on regional and global issues of mutual interest. It doesn't say that they held talks on the boundary issue, but it's implied that everything was discussed. The two leaders expressed satisfaction. I am quoting here. The two leaders expressed satisfaction on the manner in which India and Bhutan assisted each other in the fight against COVID pandemic. They agreed to closely work together for progress and development in the region as economies recover from the pandemic. The King of Bhutan reaffirmed, was given the commitment of India, deep commitment to unique ties of friendship and cooperation with Bhutan, and reiterated India's continued and full support to the socio-economic development in Bhutan based on the priorities of the royal government and as per the vision of His Majesty. There are several aspects to it. The currency swap aspect has been extended. There is also the standby credit facility given to Bhutan by India. There is the hydropower cooperation, which has been one of the main pillars of India-Bhutan friendship for years together. And projects totaling almost 2,136 megawatts, which have been jointly set up, are functioning well. Both sides noted that. They also welcomed handing over of the 720 megawatt Mangdeshu hydroelectric project to Bhutan by India. So, many of these issues were discussed. The economic cooperation, new opportunities for Indian businessmen to go and invest in Bhutan were discussed. The further expansion of cooperation on trade, technology, cross-border connectivity, mutual investments, and even space was discussed. Now, that's important, that India is going beyond the usual trade, connectivity, people-to-people contact, and saying we will help Bhutan in modernizing the society, the country, the infrastructure, by even having a satellite dedicated for Bhutan. So, a third international internet gateway has been given to Bhutan to reduce the cost of operations. And finally, the rail connectivity, which I found very interesting when I spent time in the northeast, Kokrajhar or places like Rangia in Assam were close to the Bhutan border, or places in Siliguri, in West Bengal like Siliguri and Jalpaiguri had access to Bhutan from various points. Now they are talking about a railway line from Kokrajhar, which is the headquarters of Bodoland, or the Bodo Autonomous Territory area, from there to Phuntsiling, or one of the points in Bhutan, which I found very interesting. The recent launch of the first satellite jointly developed by India and Bhutan, and the inauguration of the satellite ground earth station in Thimphu was a landmark point in India-Bhutan relationship. All this has been noted in the joint statement. So, all in all, the fact here is Bhutan is clear that it needs to be with India because most of its financial assistance, its budget comes from India. But given the changing geopolitical equations and also increasing heft that the Chinese have, the Bhutanese are coming under tremendous pressure from Beijing, which wants to establish diplomatic relations with Bhutan, which incidentally has been their main demand for quite some time, but hasn't happened because Bhutan and India are close. And of course, there are issues that the Bhutanese have with the Chinese. They have tried and occupy some of the northern areas in Bhutan. Some villages have come up there, according to Western media reports. Interestingly, China had also claimed the Sakteng Wildlife Sanctuary next to Tawang or very close to Tawang as Chinese territory, whereas they have no common border with Bhutan in that area. In fact, if at all, the Sakteng Wildlife Sanctuary has a boundary or a border with India, Arunachal Pradesh state of India. And yet the Chinese had stake claim there, hoping to do a swap between the northern areas which they have allegedly intruded into, and the western areas near Doklam where there was a standoff, as I said, in 2017. Now, the controversy was recent times was because of the statement by the Bhutanese Prime Minister, Lotte Schering, who gave an interview to a Belgian newspaper where he said the tri-junction or the resolution of the tri-junction controversy involves all three parties, China, India and Bhutan, and all of them have equal say, which was interpreted in many ways by commentators that the Bhutanese are changing their stand and giving equal opportunity to China, whereas the earlier stand was it was actually Bhutan and India which have the claim there. So, because of all this and because of the kind of chatter that was happening about how Bhutan is tilting towards China or is succumbing to Chinese pressure, I think this important meeting was due. This meeting was important in many ways. That has been established very well. Finally, one of the things one has to keep in mind is also the fact that India and China are currently locked in a fierce or I would say military stalemate in Ladakh, and China's constant attempts to try and change the boundary or intrude into Indian territories in Arunachal Pradesh, in Ladakh and elsewhere continue. So therefore India has to be on its guard, and therefore India had to tell Bhutan what are its concerns, what are its national security interests. That's something that was done perhaps in this meeting, and therefore one has to again keep a watch on what happens in that area in Sikkim or in the places where these boundaries are disputed or there are differences of opinion between the three countries. Interestingly, and this is something that you must read, we have an article up on our website which talks about how the Weibo, which is equivalent to India's, you can call it Google or Twitter or Facebook, all combined into one, which is like their internet browser, where the chat and comments by Chinese citizens about India, Bhutan and China, and India's relationship with Bhutan, and how Indian commentary and Indian leaders are reacting to that statement by the Bhutanese Prime Minister did find a very prominent place, or was trending for some couple of days, just as the king was in New Delhi. And therefore it's interesting to see that even Chinese citizens, or maybe Chinese bots backed by the Chinese state, are actually trying to put pressure on Bhutan through these articles and through these comments. So all in all, a very complicated situation. That's what I wanted to flag to you. We have done some programs on the tri-junction and the controversy surrounding it, or the boundary dispute that is there. But I thought in view of the Bhutan King's visit to India, this was important to discuss with you. Also, if you don't know, I must inform you that apart from Bharat Shakti, which is our first platform in our media house, Strat News Global was the second one. We've just launched about 10 days ago another digital platform, digital portal, focusing specifically on the Indian space sector, called interstellar.news. Do visit its YouTube channel, which is also Interstellar. And the website, of course, is called interstellar.news. We've started with a bang by doing an interview with the chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization. But apart from these interviews, you'll find interesting nuggets, interesting information, and even articles on space culture, space collaboration, space policies, space laws. So if you're interested in astronomy, in the world beyond the obvious, or you want to shoot for the stars, do watch interstellar.news, both on the YouTube channel as well as on the internet portal. Thank you for watching Strat News Global, and of course, Simply Nitin.